Pastor Samuel was known across the small town not only for his powerful preaching, but for his striking presence. Tall, well-dressed, and naturally handsome, he had a calm confidence that drew people in. But it wasn't his looks that kept the church full. It was his heart. Every Sunday, he stood before the congregation with conviction. "God is love," he would say, his voice steady. "And in his love, we find purpose, patience, and truth." Among those who listened was Grace. She sat quietly in the third row every week, never seeking attention. She sang softly during worship and always stayed behind to help tidy the church after service. Pastor Samuel noticed her, at first as just a faithful member, but over time, something about her sincerity stayed with him. One afternoon, he found her arranging chairs alone. "You don't have to do this every time," he said gently. Grace smiled. "I don't mind. It makes me feel useful." That simple answer lingered in his heart. From that day, they began to talk more, first about church, then about life. Grace was kind, thoughtful, and full of quiet strength. With her, Pastor Samuel felt something he hadn't expected: peace beyond the pulpit. Soon he realized the truth he couldn't ignore. One evening after service, standing under the fading light, he spoke honestly. "Grace, I've prayed about this, and I believe what I feel is real. I care about you, not just as a member of this church, but as someone I want to build a life with." Grace looked at him, surprised but calm. "I've been praying too," she said softly, "because I feel the same." They chose to do things the right way, with openness, prayer, and guidance from church elders. Pastor Samuel stepped back briefly from his position to ensure everything was done with integrity. In time, with the blessing of the church, their love story became something the whole community celebrated. On a bright Saturday morning, the church was filled again, but this time, not for a sermon. Pastor Samuel stood at the altar, smiling in a way no one had ever seen before. At the other end of the aisle was Grace. As she walked toward him, the same man who once preached about love now stood ready to live it fully. And that day, in the presence of the very church where their story began, Pastor Samuel and Grace were joined as husband and wife, proving that sometimes love finds you right where you are meant to serve.